What measures is the Welsh Government taking to protect and enhance Wales's canal network?
Canals contribute to the economic, social, environmental and cultural well-being of Wales. Whilst canals are non-devolved, the Welsh Government has funded projects to enhance the network. These include supporting biodiversity and other environmental enhancements along the Montgomery Canal, as well as active travel routes along Swansea Canal.
Thank you for that answer, Minister. Our canal network is a critical part of our national infrastructure. Canals bring the benefits of green spaces and nature corridors into urban areas, reaching thousands of people for whom access to nature isn't at a premium. They create wildlife corridors, contribute to flood defences and drainage, and transfer water to support public water supply. In my constituency in Newport West, the Monmouthshire and Brecon Canal has served residents since being built in 1799. Initially for industry, it now is a sanctuary for walkers and nature lovers, with the wonderful 14 Locks Canal Centre in Rogerstone providing an excellent base for visitors. Our canals are an asset to be cherished, but the recent long-term funding settlement by the UK Government for the Canal and River Trust, which includes Glandwr Cymru, represents almost a halving of real terms public funding for canals compared with recent years. According to the Trust, it will lead to a decline in the condition of the canal network and the alarming prospect of canal closures. Minister, what conversations are you having with Westminster on the impact of this decision, and what can the Welsh Government do to protect our canals and ensure that our canals remain the asset that they are?
Yes, diolch, Jayne Bryant, for that question. As you've just said, the UK Government has taken the decision to change the funding model for the Canal and River Trust and moves from a 15-year period to a 10-year period with annual downwards tapers. I'm sure you know all of this, but it was set up in 2012 and the UK Government agreed to provide around £740 million through a 15-year grant as the charity established itself. It was always the case that they were expected to gradually reduce the reliance on public funding, but it was over 15 years and that's been reduced. During 22-23, DEFRA carried out a review of its grant to inform the position. We contributed to the early stages of that review and highlighted the important role the canal network has in all areas, all the ones you've just mentioned, outdoor recreation, active travel, tourism and biodiversity being high up there. They also, so they've announced that it will reduce each year. They think that the reduction can be matched by increases in other funding, such as water transfer charges, boating and mooring charges and other income. But I'm afraid we've highlighted a number of risks as a result of the reduction in funding. We fear closure of some parts of the network, including some active travel routes, a negative impact on biodiversity if the canal can't be kept free running, because it's the free running of the water that contributes very much to that, and obligations for historic grants for assets to be maintained and to provide public benefit coming into play if the Trust can't produce enough money in order to meet its obligations, and then, as a result of that, the reduced maintenance of listed assets. So it is very concerning indeed that this has happened, and you know, we are very keen to preserve our canal network and indeed to extend it, as we still hope we will be able to do. We have some lines in Planning Policy Wales which set out policy considerations for canals and inland waterways, and it basically, in summary, it says that planning authorities should seek to promote the use of inland waterways by the protection of or provision of access to them, and that's with a view to making sure that communities can access the waterways and indeed make use of them. And also, you know, it's very obvious that in the last 10 years, people have had a very different view of canals and rivers. So it wasn't uncommon at all 15 years ago for housing estates to be built with their back to a river and a wall built in between. Now it's very obvious that it enhances the value of the land if you turn it around and make it look at the river. And well, I don't know, Jayne Bryant, if you've had a chance to do this, but if you get a chance to look at the Lee Valley on the Olympic Park in London, and what happened when the Canals and River Trust was able to influence how they pursued the inland waterways of that site and what it's done for the community locally, then it's well worth looking at. And so it's a real false economy once more from the Conservatives to do this for an asset that is both a heritage asset and a huge investment in biodiversity.